All right, we are backstage here at the Mid-America Center with the headlining act of the Music as a Weapon tour. I'm here with David from Disturbed. How are you doing today?
Good, yourself?
I'm doing all right. It's a pleasure to meet you. I know you've done some amazing work. So, starting out, we'll start you off with a simple one. What do you think you'd be doing if you weren't in a band?
It's a very good question, and I don't have a good answer. I was a healthcare administrator prior to doing this. Although I couldn't have seen myself doing that for much longer. It was a really depressing line of work. You kind of get attached to the people that you care for and they pass away. And a lot of stress, a lot of pressure. So I don't know. Music is a saving element, I think, for all of us in the band. And I honestly don't know where I would be without the catharsis that the music brings.
What's the meaning of the name Disturbed?
Well, the name came from basically our perspective on how the world treats people who are different from the norm. Typically, modern society, or society in general, not just modern society, but going back centuries probably, always treats people who stand out from the norm as rejects, as if there's something wrong with them. They imprison them, they restrain them, they exterminate them. And it was that attitude towards individuality in society that disturbed us, and that was the basis for the name.
What was it like the first time you heard yourself on the radio? Do you remember that moment?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I stopped in the middle of traffic, got up on top of the roof, the hood of the car, and screamed.
You're not making this up?
Oh, no. I was in my little piece of garbage, two-door Ford Explorer at the time, used 3 times over, and oh yeah, I lost myself, man. Just blew up.
And what did other people think of this?
They were probably taken aback quite a bit. There were horns honking all over the place, and I almost caused an accident, but yeah, that's what it
was. It worth it?
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Was there ever a point starting out, because I know this industry is really tough, where you weren't sure you wanted to keep going or you were going to make it, and what kept you going so that you could get to where we are today?
You know, that element comes and goes. That notion comes and goes. It doesn't get any easier the higher you climb, unfortunately. It sometimes, as you see the peak within your sight, reaching those last few steps towards it is probably the most difficult part. We've got a ways to go till that peak, so
what challenges do you face even today?
Loss of anonymity, loss of real freedom, loss of the ability to maintain a relationship in the traditional sense, loss of stability, loss of sanity at times.
Yes, about that, actually.
Several. Yeah. It's not an easy life, contrary to what people believe. If you take what you do seriously and you it means enough to you, it isn't an easy life. If you make it an easy life, then it's a short-lived experience. So I think that there's a lot of sacrifice involved, and what keeps me going and what keeps us going continually are the fans and the crowds, and being able to play to a live, captive audience and feeling that energy exchange and getting our fix. We've all become addicts of the live experience, and there's really no substitute by anything else.
Now, what's it like to walk out on stage in front of 10,000 fans, or 10,000 fists, I guess you could say? I mean, can you really describe that feeling? What's it like for the average person?
Difficult to describe. It's a direct mainline infusion of energy into you, if you have them. If you don't have them and things aren't going right, it is the most eviscerating experience you could possibly imagine. But it's funny, Ozzy and I talked about it once when we were still on Ozfest one time, and when it's great, there's nothing like it in the world. When it's bad, it is hell. Oh, yeah. It really, really, truly is. So we try and make sure that we get a lot more of the best thing in the world as opposed to the hellish thing, and we'll be doing okay.
I bet with all the success you've had, you don't have quite as much of the people show up to see you, I think.
Success, unfortunately, isn't always the barometer of that. You can be a very successful band and have a bad night. You can be sick, you can be damaged, you can have technical issues, you can have a cold crowd. You know, there's some crowds that the minute you walk out there, it doesn't really take much to move them. And then there are certain crowds that you really need to beat up quite a bit before they start responding. And that takes more energy, it takes more out of you. It really all depends on the night in question. So it's not a constant.
Have you ever received what's the most bizarre experience you've had with a fan?
Probably when one of the fans threw up a bag of human ash up on stage for us to have with the dead person's name on the bag. And his last wishes were that part of him be with us. Yeah. That probably ranks way up there on the list of strange things.
What did you do?
We still have it. In one of the production cases, we've never gotten rid of it. It's a little too creepy to keep around.
Like, you want to get cursed or something?
No. I mean, that was his wish, you know, so it's like, who are we to mess with that?
When did you know Disturbed had become big, that you had hit mainstream success?
For us, I think that one of the main points of recognition for us was the first radio show that we headlined at what for us has always been the main music venue in Chicago, which used to be called the World Music Theater. It's now, I don't even know what bank owns it. You know, they buy it and sell it every other day. But it was the Tweeter Center. It's no longer Tweeter. I don't know what the hell it is now. But that venue, when we played it, sold out show where we headlined 25,000 Chicago fans, that was when we finally had felt that, oh my God, you know, we've done it, we've arrived, and this is our home, and we've accomplished this. And that was a defining moment for us.
Do you get intimidated by the crowds, or does it actually kind of feed into you and make you more pumped?
There's always a mild intimidation factor initially. The minute,
hardcore fans.
Yeah. But like I said, we feed off of their energy. So it's kind of, you know, a double-edged sword. That if you don't have any of that nervousness, you've kind of lost your edge.
Yeah.
If you go out there and it's just complete boredom, and you're just going through the motions, there's really no point. Yeah. So I welcome both aspects of it.
You have a new album out, Indestructible, and I understand there's actually a pretty cool story behind the name of that song and then the album. Is that right?
Sure. The song in particular was written as an anthem for the troops. It's meant to be a song of empowerment, a song of strength and fearlessness. And it was even rhythmically written from a perspective of potentially being a cadence for troops to march to and exercise to. From another perspective, in terms of the album being called that, there are two meanings to that. One, the overall vibe of the record is one of empowerment. This is music that is the soundtrack for many people to make themselves feel strong and to strip themselves of fear. Whether they're soldiers marching into battle, or whether they're average Joes going and trying to get an extra rep in at the gym, or athletes taking the field of sport. That's what this was meant to do, to make you feel indestructible. The other meaning to it is that we are one of the last bands that came about at the time that we came about to still be here, and still be relevant and successful, and have been able to not only maintain but expand what we've created. So we feel very fortunate and blessed from that perspective. And it, you know, we're not trying to be overly pompous about it, but there is a certain...
We're indestructible. We're Disturbed.
Air of that. Yeah, not in that way, but we have somehow survived the wake of destruction that a lot of other bands have not. And we feel very fortunate for that.
Today, Disturbed 2009, you headline these huge tours. I've seen you compared to Metallica, Slipknot, a bunch of other really legendary bands. How would you say your life is different from the average fan who comes to see you? What makes your life unique?
The fact that we don't go to sleep in a non-moving bed, the fact that we're in a different city, 5 or 6 days a week, that we don't have any real notion during the touring cycle of home, that we don't have friends we see on a regular basis, that some of us, like Danny, for example, our guitar player, are fortunate enough to bring the family with them. He's got his wife and his children with him. Some of us, unfortunately, like myself, this career has been an impedance to establishing a lasting relationship.
That makes it tough.
Yeah. The life itself is more taxing on you than you might imagine. People always assume it's a life full of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and it's really, they lied to me, and it's really not about that for me.
The poster was wrong. Yeah.
Oh yeah. False advertising, but again, once you have that energy exchange occur live, once you interact with that crowd, and once you feel that energy flow into you, there really is no substitute.
Now, on that note, you say it's been really difficult. You've been doing this for 10 years. Do you see Disturbed still doing this 5, 10 years from now? I mean, when do you think you'll call it quits, or do you think you ever will?
I think that we'll continue to do what we do as long as people want to continue partaking of it, as long as people want to continue seeing us. I don't think that we will continue to tour as frequently as we have. I think that we'll be a lot more selective. I think that our bodies are starting to feel the effects of a 1.5 year long touring cycle.
Is that how long you've been on tour?
That's how long it will be by the time July comes. That's the end of our touring cycle, and we've been on the road since last March. So it's a long touring cycle, and it beats the hell out of you. So I don't think we're going to keep doing that anymore. But we will continue to put out records, and we will continue to make music, and we will continue to tour. They're going to become more special occasions. People won't be able to see us in their hometown 3 times within a record cycle. It may only happen once. So we're just going to start being more selective about it, and be a little bit more respectful to the damage that has been done over the course of the past 10 years to our bodies, unfortunately.
Do you get recognized when you go bowling and stuff? I mean, do people come up and ask for autographs?
Sure. It's my pleasure. I think I'll be far more concerned when nobody cares anymore. So it's all right.
If you go to a Disturbed concert and no one knows who you are, you have a problem.
That would be a problem. Yeah.
So what's the most interesting venue you've ever played? I've heard like a pizza place, birthday parties. Was there ever just a really bizarre place you played?
Man, we've played some just places that are hell on earth. I mean, places that have like cow droppings all over the place and God knows what, rodeo things, and little hole-in-the-wall venues that have no ventilation, and that the condensation factor gets so bad in there that the ceiling starts dripping, and it's not leakage from the ceiling, it's everybody else's sweat that condensed on the walls and is now falling all over you. There's been no shortage of inappropriate situations that we've been thrust into over the years.
I bet that makes you appreciate something like a real concert arena, huh?
Hell yeah. Give me a big room any day of the week, brother. I'm all about getting in front of a big crowd in a big room with a lot of ventilation and great lighting, and indoors where we can actually appreciate the lighting. That's probably going to sit there most of the damn day.
Really?
I think the only thing that we end up attacking after the show, I'll maybe have a couple pieces of cheese and a piece of fruit. The bottle of wine will definitely go. And John may attack some of the chips and salsa and the pita.
Now, what you don't have, are you going to give to us?
You want it?
No, I'm just- although I don't know. I got this from Disturbed. How's that?
It might go to waste, so
We'll come back after the show and get some free food.
we'll hook you up.
All right, good deal. Do you think people treat you differently because you're famous?
Sometimes they do. Sometimes that's to the positive. Sometimes that's to the negative.
How would it be negative?
People automatically will give you attitude.
Because you're Disturbed?
Sure. Or will automatically, think that you carry yourself high and mighty when you actually don't really act any differently than
That's not
anybody
true.
else.
Totally.
There's the nice side of things is occasionally you'll have a waitress in a restaurant who knows you or likes you or whatever, and will make sure to give you a little extra something, or pay extra close attention to you, or you get to a club and the people know who you are and you don't have to wait in line, and little things like that are nice. Some of the other things aren't so nice, when you get some of these people who are haters, when you get some of these people who just get a kick out of trying to knock down the person who's a little higher up the mountain. That no matter how many times it happens, it still stings.
How do you respond to people who maybe bash your music or, go after you guys, really when they don't understand all the work and stuff that goes into it?
I don't think it's an understanding of the work that has anything to do with them bashing it. People who bash what we do are doing so because they can, because we have become a target now that we are successful, and because they're musical snobs of a type. It's one thing to have a preference or a taste. It's another thing entirely to attack something for its style, or for any other number of reasons that are attributed to the music. I don't know what drives these people sometimes. I honestly don't. Some of them are almost like jealous boyfriends, that loved you when you were small and little known, when you were their own, when you only belonged to them. And now that you're in the public and everyone has a piece of you, you whore.
Don't worry, there's plenty more where that came from. Come with me behind the scenes, backstage, and onto the tour bus to meet your favorite stars. We are backstage with Slipknot. I am here with my good friend, the American Idol, Chris Allen. I'll ask questions you've never heard before and show you the answers you won't find anywhere else. You said you're a Justin Timberlake fan.
No.
Maybe that wasn't you?
Oh my God, I shouldn't have smoked all that weed.
What do you like about Katy Perry?
Everything.
Happy
birthday, dear Brian.
Huge meaning or self-defining sort of thing.
I think we just lost one of our interviews. Rate, comment, and subscribe for new videos every week. Reporting for YouTube, I'm Brian O'Dell.
BryanStars! BryanStars!
I'm the reason you go on tour.
You're the reason I'm here, baby.